top in red, Al-Hajja Dr. Safiya Muhammad. And she was a student of mine, and in a way I was also a student of hers. I learned an enormous amount about the problems and the strengths of northern Nigerian women. And there's a lot of ignorance, both in other parts of Nigeria and also Europe, the USA, about the north. Yeah, there are huge, challenging problems, but also the women can express themselves with immense courage and determination, and Safiya is one of these typical ladies who are determined to improve educational access for young women, particularly in the north, where there are a lot of problems, as we know. Recently, she stood for a seat in the Senate. And it is absolutely, you pardon my using strong words here, it is disgraceful that in the Nigerian Senate, there are 101 male senators and 8 female representatives. Now, there is a huge disparity here because in informal political situations, the women are strong and they're incredibly active. But at this institutional, federal level, and government level, there is this massive imbalance. And that's, in fact, even former President Olusegun Obasanjo said this has to be addressed. You know, it needs to be addressed. It's an extreme that should not be tolerated. So Safiya stood for Senate 2 months ago, and she was getting fantastic support, especially from women. And then there was a backlash which took a form of misogynist fury, and people were intimidated into voting for her. So is she giving up? Not Safiya. There's another election coming up for Senate. She's standing again. And so since my wonderful, wonderful helper and support, Barbara, is filming this, and I think you're going to put it on YouTube at some point, I want to send my very best wishes to Safiya and good luck with her hard work. She also works for UNESCO, trying to promote educational access for women. And I should be her student because, you know, she's very IT competent, and she has acquired a lot of skills which she wants to make available to other Nigerian women. So Safiya, I send you my love, and my heart and soul are with you. Good luck in the forthcoming election, because you are the sort of woman Nigeria needs in the Senate. So, well, I better get on with the poem. The Graduate for Safiya. Now, this is not biographical, but there are elements that relate to Safiya's struggle, but it is not, the character I've presented cannot be regarded as exactly Safiya. But the spirit of the poem connects to her incredible courage and struggle, right from struggling to gain access to secondary education. So, you know, she has, but different, again, cultural differences. She's very self-contained. She doesn't have that kind of, you know, spontaneous element that you find in both the Southwest and the Southeast. She's a very self-contained lady, but she is determined, and she works out what her purposes are, and she goes for it. Okay, for Safiya. So Northern Nigeria, Bauchi State, 1970s. Zaria, Kaduna State, late 1970s and 1980s. When her father refused her permission to attend secondary school, she sold her favorite wrapper to pay for the bus ride that took her far from relations and friends, village and home, alone, unprotected, unaided, save for the scholarship award nestling moist in the safe, secret hollow between her breasts. When her husband refused her permission to sit for JAM, okay, Joint Admissions Matriculation Board, you need to get their authorization before you can go to university. Sorry, let me begin again. When her husband refused her permission to sit for JAM, She bit her lip, registered in silence unobserved, and wrote the last paper while her womb growled unwelcome warnings that her second baby might make a first impromptu appearance on the examination room floor. When her husband ordered her to stay at home and mind her children and house like a proper wife should, she uttered no sound of reproach or complaint, just packed her bags, rented a room in Samaru, and called for her mother to come and carry her baby while she joined her classmates in crowded lecture rooms. Her husband decided not to repudiate his pretty wife, transferred to Zaria, and lowered the level of domestic strife. When the clamour of their children and his visiting nieces and nephews laid siege subversive to her studies, she carried her books stealthily to the quarters at the back and resolutely prepared her long research essay by kerosene lamp, the maid from her village, loyal, supportive, sworn to secrecy. Now, her framed photograph hangs next to his, trophy to her tactful persistence in her graduation gown. She smiles, modest and demure, yet insistent, unashamedly sure of the success she has won in her guerrière campaign, one long battle braved in a series only just begun, as she looks for a way to send her young maid to school. Out of the late Harmattan chill, change unexpected is on its way. On reflection, her husband's scowling misgivings transform into smiles of self-congratulation. He is glad for having sensibly conceded to his dear wife's dogged determination to scale the walls of academic achievement. For now, he can take his sabbatical in the USA and leave her with the children to maintain the home and pay for her needs and theirs from her salary alone.